Environmental Literacy Plan, Oregon, Ohio. The city of Oregon has a current population of 20,291 people. Oregon has a population of 676.8 people per square mile. The predictions show that in the next 5 years, population will increase to 20,695 people. The median age for a male in Oregon is 40.5 years old. The median age for a female in Oregon is 44 years old. Oregon attracts seasonal visitors in the summer and in the winter for fishing. In the spring and fall, the visitors are attracted by the bird migration. 90.2% of Oregon residents have a high school diploma or higher education. Oregon currently has no public transportation. Looking at Oregon's economy, there are 1,017 companies in the area. 10.7% of individuals live below the poverty level. Looking at economic health and vitality, we have the most industrial space per square mile in the region, with quick access to waterways, railways, highways, and airports, and 49 colleges and universities within 70 miles of Oregon. Pollution of air and water, climate change, and waste produced by the community affect the environment. Oregon has one of the most industrial spaces around, which creates more pollution and waste. Oregon's Parks and Recreation Department is responsible for recreational activities for the community, such as sporting events, art, caroling, and school activities. Oregon's environment has been in the news a lot lately, from Lake Erie to wind turbines. The Ohio Water and Soil Commission is responsible for making a decision that would declare parts of Lake Erie distressed due to the harmful algae blooms created from runoff. However, more research is needed before this determination is made, and they will vote early next year. The wind turbines along Lake Erie sound like they would be beneficial for renewable energy, but would be harmful for birds that stop to rest and refuel before they head across Lake Erie to Canada. The impact of the choices in the community affect the habitats of many animals, including birds and fish. The air is also becoming polluted due to an increase in factories that are emitting pollutants into the air. Also, the runoff from fields is also polluting the water, causing harmful algae blooms in Lake Erie, where many cities, including Oregon, retrieve their water from. Biodiversity is a term derived from biological diversity to explain the variety of life on Earth, starting with genes, individual species, communities of creatures, and entire ecosystems. Humans threaten biodiversity by continuing to increase the population and needing to create more housing, farmland, and industrial sites. Poaching, hunting, and pollution are also threatening biodiversity. Biodiversity in Oregon has been impacted by the creation of many subdivisions that eliminated habitats to make room for housing. Many factories and other industrial sites have also been built to create jobs, energy, and place our waste. There are many steps that we can take to protect biodiversity. One of the main steps that can be taken is the reduction or the elimination of pesticides and fertilizer. Restoration of habitats in the community, as well as in your own backyard, can create a sanctuary for wildlife. Reducing consumption of resources and energy, reusing and recycling will also help create a positive impact on the environment by destroying less habitats to create those products. Buying local, organic food also helps to ensure that none or minimal pesticides are used in the community. Furthermore, donations to conservation efforts and advocacy efforts in favor of biodiversity will help create change and more habitable spots for wildlife. Climate change is impacting our wildlife, ecosystems, human health, agriculture, water, energy, and transportation. Water changes are a serious concern, with drought affecting communities in the western United States, less snow accumulations in the West and Alaska, and heavy downpours in the Midwest and northeastern states. Increased temperatures, water stress, diseases, and weather extremes are creating challenges for ranchers and farmers who are responsible for our food supply. Human health is also impacted by climate change because there is an increase of waterborne diseases, decreased air quality, extreme weather events, and more diseases that are transmitted by rodents and insects. Climate change is impacting ecosystems by creating time changes for events like flowering and egg laying, and species are changing their homes in order to accommodate the climate changes. There are many things that we can do in our community to slow down the effects of climate change. The community can help reduce transmission emissions by taking public transit, which we would need to create, or riding bikes, walking, car sharing, and switching to more energy efficient vehicles when you're due for an upgrade. The community can also save as much energy as possible by using energy efficient light bulbs, unplugging electronics when not in use, washing clothes in cold or warm water, hang drying clothes, winterizing homes. Communities can also put a price on carbon, which makes it more affordable for organizations to switch to energy efficient options. Communities can also invest in renewable energy as well as growing your own food. The Not in My Backyard principle was created based on the prospect of a hazardous waste facility being in a community, and the community's response is, "Not in my backyard." We have had some of that in our community regarding the new power facility, as well as the development of a new prison. Energy and renewable energy. Energy in our community. The wind power at Clay High School in Oregon. The wind turbine provides renewable energy and powers the football stadium, concession stands, and part of the high school. This is saving our community money by decreasing the amount of taxes needed to pay for energy. Davis-Besse is a nuclear power plant owned and operated by First Energy Nuclear Operating Company. Davis-Besse generates 908 megawatts of electricity for the communities and is Ottawa County's largest employer, and many schools depend on the taxes from Davis-Besse. However, First Energy Nuclear Operating Company is filing bankruptcy and is scheduled to close Davis-Besse in 2020. There are many impacts of using non-renewable energy. Using non-renewable energy sources creates the emission of greenhouse gases which affect climate change and contribute to global warming. Air pollution is also a major concern from non-renewable energy sources as it is impacting the environment and people's health. Non-renewable energy is also emitting dangerous pollutants into the water cycle, which causes acid rain and is harmful to fish and other aquatic organisms, as well as causes damage to trees. Non-renewable energy also creates land pollution and waste generation, as well as damage to the ecosystem and nearby shores when there are oil spills. As important as recycling is, we do not have mandatory recycling in our community. However, Oregon does pay for a recycling program and they provide the bins for pickup. There are 2 different recycling centers in Oregon. Both centers are monitored and well taken care of. However, on some occasions the bins are full and you may need to go another day to drop off recycling. To encourage more recycling in the community, you can add more recycling bins to public areas, especially since the ones are usually full or overflowing. Another way is to write a column in the newspaper. That way we can encourage recycling and proper recycling habits. Another way to encourage recycling is to teach the young children in the community about recycling through a partnership with schools and a program with the metro parks. A recycling club would also encourage the community to be involved in recycling and help clean up the community. The current air quality in Oregon is labeled as good, between 0 and 50, with little to no risk of air pollution. Pollution and air quality both impact the environment as they have an impact on the number of crops that can be produced, Pollution and air quality also affect tree growth, lumber production, and forest maturity. Soil is also affected by the pollutants, and it can also cause runoff into the waterways, which affect water and food sources. Acid rain also occurs as a byproduct of pollution, which causes damage to buildings and other structures. The environmental health risks in our community is clean drinking water due to the toxic algae bloom that occurs in the summer and can sometimes leave entire cities without clean drinking water. Another major environmental risk is the heroin epidemic that's taking place, which can cause spread of disease due to use of unclean needles. There are many hazards in our community, from biological infections, viruses, bacteria, fungi, parasites, chemical, which includes gases, dust, fumes, liquids, and vapors that can be found in cleaning products, or chemicals, pesticides, petroleum products, and physical hazards, which include unsafe situations like slippery floors, tripping hazards, or unsafe or misused machinery, loud noises, fires, and poor lighting. We can increase environmental health by cutting down on the amount of garbage and recyclables by using reusable water bottles, eating locally, little to no packaging, also cuts down on pollution. Cutting down on water usage, electricity, gas will help increase environmental health. Using natural and homemade products, and recycling and reusing whenever possible. Some foods that are an environmental health issue, like fruits and vegetables that aren't washed first that we eat, too much fish consumption can contain high levels of mercury, and red meats have a high ecological footprint. We can shop for foods that have a low carbon footprint, buy organic as much as possible, and buy from reputable stores to ensure that safety regulations are met to prevent illnesses. We can live more sustainably by reducing, reusing, and recycling, creating plastic-free products and packaging, driving less, carpooling more, having smaller families, and having energy-efficient homes.